Hey YouTube, welcome to the second Kingdom Death stream. We picked up right where we left off, and we're here in Twitch chat. You should come and join Twitch chat. It's way more fun if you're here to actively suggest names and such. So we just died. There's nobody left alive. This white lion murders us all. Absolutely murdered us all. So we have dropped. Oh yeah, I forgot we named our settlement Kaldheim. Oh, that's good. We've got 10 survivors left alive. This is Kingdom Death Monster. Your survivors are resources. They're maybe not supposed to die as quickly as these 4 did, but we have more to use. So we come back to the settlement phase. Our survivors return. Nope, sure don't. We get endeavors. Remember, we get 1 endeavor for every returning survivor. So nope. Update the timeline. We can do that. So Lantern Year 2. And yes, this is the thing that annoys me, where we look at the timeline, we cross off Year 2, and then we ignore this event. We close the timeline, we do this event, and then we go back and do that event. I don't know. I'm sure there's some reason they do that, but I think you should just do the timeline event first. Anyways, our random settlement event for the year is Stranger in the Dark. Settlement event, roll 1d10. The pain will continue. A 10, that's got to be good, right? The stranger is desperately clutching a founding stone. Remember, we threw all of them away. So we get a new one. Naked and covered in blood. Gain a population and a founding stone. Hey, look, it's Sidian. New survivor. Sidian, naked and bloody with a stone coming on in. Look at that. It's Sidian 2. You get a survival for being named. And we also get a founding stone. So let's dive into the starting gear pile here and grab ourselves one of these. We'll put that in the gear pile, but obviously that's going to go to somebody when we head on out. Well, that was a rather nice event. Let's put that away. Now we go back to the timeline and do the event that is written down called Endless Screams. Endless Screams. A scream pierces the silence around the settlement. As the noise fades, a chorus of horror rises up in answer. The settlement erupts into chaos, trying to comprehend the source of the terrible wail. You may now hunt the screaming antelope. Add it to the quarry list. We won't hunt this for a while. It's not too hard of a fight, but there's some bits of that white lion that we desperately need. Add it to the quarry list. Nominate a single survivor to stand amidst the madness. They gain +1 courage and become the voice of reason. All right, so we need a survivor. So we have Samantha here. She, remember, sat in front of the lantern horde and pondered existence. So she was not in the last fight. She survived the prologue lion, and then she didn't go out on the second hunt. So all of her friends didn't come back. So she's here. So what happens to her? She gets if we choose her, she gets a courage, and then there's a roll. The worst thing is she gets a shattered jaw. Let's nominate her. She was the first person to speak. She was the person who sat in front of the lantern horde and pondered existence. Let's call her the voice of reason. Don't we have to bury people as well? Those were our first deaths, so we update milestones in just a little bit. That's step 6 of settlements. So the voice of reason rolls 1d10. Two. The survivor's face turns pale and the courage drains from their eyes. Oh yeah, we have to give her a courage. Boop. Without hesitation, the survivor turns on their heels and dashes for the darkness. Sadly, their foot catches a stone face and they fall face first into the floor. The survivor loses 1 courage and suffers the shattered jaw, severe head injury. So let's get rid of that courage. No, you still have 1. There we go. And let's give her a shattered jaw. I know this means she can't speak that well, which is pretty bad with her being the voice of reason, eh? And I'm sure it does -1 to something. Shattered Jaw. Ah, yes, she can no longer consume anything, or any event that tells her to consume something in your gear grid. She can't eat it. She can also no longer encourage people, which is the survival to stand up. We're starting to maim the party. Yeah, we're maiming the party in the settlement phase. And this injury is permanent and can only be recorded once. Well, at least it didn't hurt her stats, so that's good. That's good. So that's the end of the Voice of Reason. We've done that. So now we update the death count. The death count is automatically updated for us with 4, but that does check off a new milestone of our first death, which gives us a choice. The principle of death. The group must decide what to do with their first survivor corpse. And the second and the third and the fourth, I guess. We're going to do first grave. Graves are just way better than the first harvest. So the settlement decides to build a small monument to mark their loss. The settlement gains the death principle graves, find it, and place it in front, and then roll a 1d10. Let's roll this and then come back and see what it says. Death, graves, there we go. So graves, all new survivors get a +1 understanding. We don't have any new survivors. Unfortunately, these other two words, I guess I should put this more on screen. These other two sentences don't count because they weren't in effect when our people died. But if somebody dies in the showdown, we get 2 endeavors. And if somebody dies in the settlement, we get +1 endeavor. So we still get to do stuff, but not this year. Our die roll was a 2. 1 to 5, the settlement gathers around the grave, each taking the moment to reflect the loss and their place in the darkness. All departing survivors get +1 survival and +1 understanding. All right, so we'll keep a note of that. Somebody remind me if I don't remember that when we go to depart, which will be very shortly because we can't do anything. So we have updated the death count. We have checked milestones. It's time for us to develop. What does the cannibalism option do? It gives you a resource. It ups your survival limit, and it gives you a basic resource when somebody dies. And you can potentially get a founding stone and some insanity, or you can potentially get a permanent speed for one person, and +1 understanding. Oh, right. Yes. For the your noting for when we depart. So yeah, it gives you kind of a thing. There's a chance that it's actually, if we thought that maybe we could actually get through this campaign, I think we'll be starting a new one at some point in the next few weeks. There's a chance we could actually take Cannibalize to get a founding stone back, potentially to get that survival limit going. But Graves just giving you those endeavors so that even a wipe year still gives you endeavors is really, really, really handy, especially when you actually have like a stock of resources kicking around. So we've done that. Develop. We can't craft anything. We have no resources. We can't do anything with endeavors. We don't have any endeavors. So time to depart, I guess. All right. So this means that we need some new survivors. So we'll spawn Sidian. And we'll pop Sidian down. I always like to go male, female, female, male, just because that's the way this mod is originally set up, and it just helps me remember what model I'm moving. So Sidian will be over here as a red person, and we'll give him this character model. We'll give him the sword. He's got his monster grease. And I guess we'll give him the armor as well, because he's going to be getting in there. No, you don't need, you can't have 2 monster grease. We'll give him the armor. So he's got the gloves, he's got the headband, and he's got the vest. So we'll get the evasion and stuff. And yeah, we do have that extra founding stone that we'll give to somebody. Samantha's got the bone sword. So we need 2 new survivors. 2 new survivors. Give me give me a male and a female survivor name. Briscoe, Donnie. Briscoe, survival, spawn. So now all new survivors get an understanding. So Briscoe here has an understanding. And Tamio, oh, there we go. That goes with the magic idea. population, Tamio, get a survival. Or sorry, Briscoe's not new, and neither is Tamio. We named them, but they're not new. They always existed, just without a name. So we'll have to take away his understanding here. Boop. But she got her survival. He got his survival. Or no, not her understanding. His understanding. So yeah, these two are going to be relatively unequipped. She can have the founding stone. And I guess this guy will be our fist and tooth person, if we can get them going. So it's time to depart. So everybody gets what? Chat. Survival and an understanding. Understanding? Understanding. So understanding. What's our survival limit? 2. So survival. Understanding. Survival. Understanding. Survival. Understanding. Survival. Look at that. We can all dodge twice. That's awesome. Tamio and Briscoe's got 5 minutes to live? Probably. So this person is going to get an evasion. Again, you're not technically supposed to use tokens. You're just supposed to remember that they have +1 evasion. But if it ever comes up, try to make sure that we keep our fake token separate from our real tokens. There is an ability that actually lets you like spend tokens as survival, which is kind of cool. So she gets an invasion, or he gets an invasion. She gets an evasion. Oops, didn't copy that. There we go. And also a survival, but she's already at the survival limit. Remember, she cannot consume or encourage. She gets an evasion. And Sidian gets an evasion. Survival, but can't use it. And then an extra evasion, because he's got the blue-red connections on this rawhide vest. And what does this scrap sword do again? On a perfect hit, +4 strength for that attack. Dang, that's good. That's super good. That's super good. Oh, you're not a... Yeah, so survival is what we use. We use 1 point of survival to do these special abilities here. So dodge and encourage right now. And it's time for us to go hunt. Let's clean up the showdown area. Oh, we need to give Tamio a figure. So what figure do we have? We have that one. So we want Lucy. So there's Tamio's figure, and then we need Briscoe's figure, which would be Zachary here. There we go. Let's bring the monster controller back over. Showdown cleaned up. It's time to hunt the lion again. So there's not that many monsters in the base game. You're basically going to be hunting the lion over and over and over. Eventually, maybe hunting the antelope a bit. Whether or not you want to fight the phoenix is kind of up to you. There's some good armor, but there's also not necessarily an exact reason. There is some really interesting stuff where the phoenix actually can rapidly age you, which means you get a bunch of hunt XP, which can be good or bad. But the phoenix is definitely a little bit more niche than hunting the lion and the antelope over and over. There are then a whole bunch of nemesis monsters that are just going to show up and kick us down. So yeah. Do you want me to roll for you today? Yeah, you sounded like you rolled quite well. So we're going to start the hunt. So remember, with the hunt, we're going to be just going boop, 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 trying to get ourselves to the lion, uncovering random events as we go. So let's go. Prowling lion. While the survivors stalk the white lion, the monster hunts something else. Move the white lion 1 space away from the survivors on the hunt board. The white lion starts the showdown with ground fighting in play. Ground fighting is the reason that you desperately want a ranged weapon. Because ground fighting, we had it last time, is where the lion doesn't do anything. It just sits there. But if you do an action beside the lion, it hits you first. So if you have a ranged weapon, you can set up, do whatever you want, and then just like hurl things at it until you hit it once. We do have the 1 stone. So if we do want to use up that founding stone, we can just be like, all right, let's use it. And that's probably what'll happen. There's no random hunt event on this, so we go to the next space. Scratching grounds. Claw marks scar the ground. The survivors may choose to investigate. Each survivor that investigates gains +1 courage and rolls on the table. We may suffer of 1 damage to the arms, nothing happens, or a 20% chance of finding a lion claw. If nobody investigates, then we do a random hunt event. So it's 70% chance of nothing happening. Arm damage honestly isn't the literal worst thing. Lion claws are real good. It's only a 30% chance of arm damage. Everybody's hunting. Everybody's going to do it. So green takes arm damage. Well done, Tamio. Well done. And then we get 1 claw, and everybody gets a courage. All right, that's fine. Claw's important. Oh, we don't have these bones. Do not have bones. We get a claw. Look at that. We got a claw. No claws. 4 to 8, nothing happens. Oh, 9 to 10. Right. I wanted the claw, though. Damn it. Everybody gets 1 courage. Courage. Courage does eventually make you go blind, unfortunately, but there's a good side of going blind from the courage. And so we don't do our random hunt event. Next card, we do our random hunt event. So we roll 10s and 1s left and right. 43. Hunt. 43. Fresh kill. What does courage do? Courage eventually unlocks pretty quickly, actually. I think everybody was mostly 1 courage away from just a boost and a little ability that gets added. It's very handy. And then if you max out your courage, something else happens that gives you a much better ability. And I believe courage makes you go blind. Maybe understanding makes you go blind. I can't remember which one makes you go blind. And then as well, there are some things that are like, if a survivor has 3+ courage, then they can take part in this event. Or there's a lion one. I think it's the roar, where not only does the lion have to roll a certain number, it has to be a certain number above that person's courage. So there's little things here or there. Fresh kill. A carpet of skittering bugs points the survivor to a freshly killed monster. The scavenging insects try to defend their dinner, but the survivors fight them off to claim the prize. Each survivor rolls 2d10 and adds their hunt XP, which I guess would be nothing except for Samantha has 1. The highest scoring survivor slays the most vermin and wins the putrid prize for themselves. They gain 1 random basic resource and 1 random vermin resource. So 2d10 for everybody, eh? And Samantha will add 1. So Sidian, 6. Tamio, 5. Samantha, 5 as well. Is 6 going to be the high roll? There we go, 17. So white wins the prize. Obviously, this doesn't matter as much with us playing solo, but if you were playing in a group of people, you might kind of bicker a little bit over who would want these, but it doesn't super matter. So we just get a random basic resource and a random vermin resource. All right. So let's reset the basic resources deck. We didn't get any resources last time, so that's fine. Random resource is, and I usually just pile them here, even though technically he has it. We get a monster hide. That's handy. And we get a vermin resource. These are a little bit rarer. You can cook these eventually. A nightmare tick. We can eat this if we want to. So I guess technically he should hold on to this because he can eat it. So if you eat this, 1d10 on a 1 through 3, you die. 4 to 5, nothing. Tastes like iron. On a 6, get a permanent +1 evasion. Yeah, and Samantha can't eat it, but Briscoe's the one who got it. I'm not going to eat it. Eat it before combat. We'll eat it We'll eat it if things maybe look dire or something. But we are not losing a survivor at the start of a fight again. That was, I think, one of the worst things yesterday. All right, next random event is going to be 45. Well, hey, we're already on that page. 45, Jagged Valley. A valley of sharp white stones opens before the survivors, looking just like a toothy maw. As the survivors push and climb through the jagged spires, they find that even the shallowest nick bleeds profusely. Each survivor suffers 1 event damage to the body. Unless a survivor has bandages to patch up their wounds, all survivors also gain 2 bleeding tokens. So 1 damage to the body. Oops, that was arms. And 2 bleeding tokens apiece. Luckily, the lion doesn't tend to make you bleed, really. Not much. There's ways. So there's bleeding tokens for everybody. And then what did the rest of that say? If any survivor has a pickaxe, nope. They can try to convince the other survivors to let them investigate a bit more. If they're convinced, roll a 1d10. Nope, we don't have a pickaxe. Yeah, vermins are better cooked. You cook them with like some monster bits, and you get usually a potion that can give you the boost as well. Yeah, we've got 2 bleed already, but like I said, the lion doesn't have too many bleed attacks. All right, time for us to fight the lion. Let's clean up the hunt. And then let's set up. And let's hope we get good
Y'all
terrain.
stay lying about getting drafty on those Twitch announcements. Lol. This is probably more fun.
Yeah, the Twitch announcements, I can never remember where I'm supposed to go to edit them. And I don't think most people edit them or care about them, really. I should make it more generic, I suppose. But thank you very much for the 28-month resub, J. Abbott. Okay, so let's set up the White Lion, level 1. That's the hunt. Let's set up the Showdown of the White Lion, level 1. And now we need to put ground fighting in play. Let's see if it's in the deck already. It's not. Shuffle that up again. So it'll be in the advanced AI. It's in the advanced AI. All right. So there's that. Shuffle that up. Let's set up the grass the way that I like to, which is grass here, character, grass here, character. Boop, 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 boop. Yes. We got stone columns, which I hate. They don't do much. So I typically just like throw them up here and never interact with them. So a stone column is an obstacle. It's impassable, meaning that it blocks line of sight. When a survivor collides with it, you stop their movement, they take a damage, and you throw away the column. And when a monster passes over it, you throw away the column. That's it. It doesn't do anything. I think it's kind of a stupid terrain. So they can live up there and we'll never interact with them. Giant stone face would have been amazing if we had a ranged person here. You can sort of hide behind them because it blocks the monster's line of sight. So if the monster targets field of view, it would not see you. But if the monster just targets in range and it doesn't say field of view, it still sees you. And the monsters are not blocked by terrain. Monsters just walk right on over. So I've never been a big fan of it. The giant stone face, though, you can actually climb on top of it, and it gives you +2 accuracy and +2 range to your ranged weapons. So like just sticking a bow person up here is amazing, but we don't have any ranged weapons. It has to be 5 spaces away from all board edges. As well, it's also an obstacle and impassable, which means it blocks line of sight, and that survivors can't move through it unless they spend that action to climb on top of it. So that's our setup. I was really hoping that we would get like debris pile or something so that we could just spend some turns, rooting around in a debris pile to see what we could find. So let's begin. Sidian is the monster controller. Yeah, we could have got a second scrap sword. Would have been amazing. So ground fighting is in play. If you weren't here last time or saw it before or know what it does, the monster flops onto its side. We don't draw AI cards for it, so it doesn't do anything. It doesn't attack. But if a survivor ever does an action, which is attacking, in the zone of death, which is any adjacent square, orthogonally or diagonally, before you do the action, the lion hits you with +2 speed and +1 damage, which is real bad. And you only discard ground fighting when the white lion is wounded. So we have to wound the white lion without getting near it, and we're going to do that by hurling our founding stone because it does an instant critical hit. We don't actually have to climb up because we can throw the founding stone from anywhere we want. It doesn't need any extra stuff. Throwing it away is an instant critical wound, so we have no need to get on the stone face. What I think we're actually going to do is just get on up to the lion, surround it, get into its blind spot, pass the turn, start our turn by hurling the stone hurler can't be in that area because they do spend an action to throw the stone. Do we want to do that? I mean, we do end up pretty far away from the grass. Yeah, maybe you're right. So we just let the lion come to us, and then ideally don't get hit because of the grass bonus, and then we're already around it. That might be a little bit better. One of the worst things, of course, is we discard ground fighting, which means it goes back in the deck. Yeah, I think that might be better. Okay, so lion's turn does nothing. Our turn, who's got it? Tamio? Tamio's going to hurl the stone at the lion. Remember, there is one way for this to screw up. If it's the trap card, it don't work. The beast's tricep. So we wound the beast's tricep. There goes a wound. We critically wound it. So the torn muscle causes agonizing pain. Discard one mood card currently in play. We were going to do that anyways. The white lion is knocked down. The white lion is knocked down. I kind of really want to take advantage of this. It will put us away from the grass. So with the white lion being knocked down, we hit on rolls of 3. I'm sending Sidian up for sure. Briscoe, or who threw that? Tamio? Tamio, that's her turn. She's not going to move out of the grass. Sidian's going in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sidian's going in, attacking with the scrap sword, which is a speed of 2. We're going to hit normally on a 5, but we hit on a 3, and then we wound on a 5, crit on a 10. 2 hits. Let's move that over. We hit the knee and the tail. So let's go for the knee first. Wound on a 5, crit on a 10. Wound. The knee has nothing to go there. As well, a knocked down monster does not react, which is great. So try to wound the tricep or whatever it was, and we crit. Well done, Sidian. We crit the beast's tail. Get rid of a wound. The white lion's tail is destroyed, ruining its finely tuned balance. The white lion gains -1 accuracy token. It's going to be harder to hit us, and we get the white lion tail resource. There it is. Boop. It's surprisingly heavy. There's Sidian's turn. So the white lion's accuracy just went down. I think we're sending Samantha in too. And she's got the bone blade, so she's got an even better chance to hit. So that's Sidian's turn, that's Tamio's turn. Samantha, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So she's going to hit on a 3 with the bone blade. Speed of 2. 2 hits from the bone blade. We get the femur and the belly. Let's start with the femur. She's going to wound on a 6 or higher, crit on a 10. We wound the femur. Let's go for the soft belly. Wound on a 6, crit on a 10. We wound the soft belly. All right. So we've got Briscoe left. Let's go do that battle. Might be a tough battle. Boneblade hits on a 4, or is that because of the knockdown? It's because of the knockdown. Knockdown monsters are always a 3. Interestingly, even if your weapon would hit on a 2, it hits on a 3 for a knocked down monster. I don't know why, but that is how it works. Yeah, this is going much better than last time. Yeah, we might not have enough people here. I guess doing this on an off day is perhaps less good. We're good, we're good. We can kill those treasure chests that don't attack, I think. Look at that. We're killing the inanimate boxes. Eidstro with the most kills, Fire Shrieker with the most assists. We got 5 gold to everybody and a bomber to Cosmere Dragon. Let's stay with the easy fights for the moment. Although there's a skin chest. Let's see if we can do a level 3. Get your units in. Get your units in. And we'll come back to that in a bit. Okay, so Briscoe is the final person. Now he would have to get in front of the lion, which, as we know, is a minorly dangerous spot. We're down to 6 cards in the deck. Let's go on in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He only has Fist and Tooth, so he's going to try to bite the lion. Still hits on a 3, thanks to the knockdown. 2 hits. We hit the hand and the ribs. Wound on an 8, crit on a 9, thanks to the luck from Fist and Tooth. Fails to do the strange hand. There is a failure reaction, but remember, a knocked down lion does not react. The ribs, we don't wound either. Good job. Good job, Briscoe. It was well worth it. If the lion grabs and moves, you'll be closer to the grass anyways. Yes, except for the grab that moves the lion away from all threats. So that's our turn. So next turn, we'll move the monster controller over. We'll flip the lion back up. And let's do the lion's first attack of the game. Rasp! Closest knocked down survivor in range. Nope. Closest survivor in range is all 3 of them. It's going to do a speed of 1, an accuracy of 3+, 1 damage point, and afterwards it's going to grab somebody and full move away from all threats. But at least it's a speed of 1 and we have a dodge, so we can just dodge this if it hits. So we'll target Sidian, I guess, has the extra evasion, even though we're going to dodge if it hits. So this is a speed of 2, accuracy of 3 for 5. So 5 or higher for the hit. Or sorry, it was a speed of 1, wasn't it? It was a speed of 1. I'll just reroll. I was going to take the 5, but we'll just reroll. Okay, so it hits. So it would do 1 point of damage to the waist and pull Sidian way up here. Sidian's going to dodge. Spend a survival, dodge, doesn't hit. All good. All good. Yeah, we got a knockdown lion. We tore it apart, got 5 wounds in 1 turn. You got the most kills in Stream Raiders, and it's our turn. What are we going to do? The tricky part is I kind of want Briscoe out of the way. He can't really get out of the way and attack, though. And then I kind of want Sidian and Tamio to go back up in behind. So he's going to bravely attack from the front and see what happens. So Fist and Tooth going to hit on an 8 or higher. Double hit. The Glorious Mane and the Clever Ploy. All right, so trap card. Trap card, trap card, trap card. Lion needs to be facing... Oh yeah, sorry, it should be facing Sidian. That would have maybe changed what I did. But anyways, Briscoe is going to get doomed, which means he can't spend survival. White Lion does a basic action on Briscoe, which is a speed of 2, accuracy of 3, damage of 1. Briscoe has 1 evasion, so accuracy of 4. That is 1 singular hit, doing 1 damage to the waist. That's fine. Tears off his loincloth. And then we shuffle the hit location deck. All right. So his turn's done, and we're back to where I accidentally started the turn, I suppose. Yeah. Let's send Sidian up behind. We don't need no long grass. Whoa, no. Lion, calm down. Sidian up in behind with the scrap sword. Going to hit on a 4, thanks to the blind spot bonus. 1 hit, and it's a perfect hit, which means that Sidian has +4 strength for this attack. So we're going for the fleshy gut. We're wounding on a technically 1. The lion does have -1 accuracy, but I included that when I figured out what it was. So it was +2. It was 2, and then -1, so 3, and then 4. And he rolled a 5. So Sidian's wounds on a 5, he has +4. That would be 1, right? A fail is a 1 is always a fail. Always a fail. So we don't actually wound on a 1, but we do wound on 90% of the rolls here. So don't roll a frickin' 1. And we still crit on a 10. A 6. We wound. We wound the fleshy gut. Failure reaction is fine. No crit. All right. Yeah, D&D rules still apply. So that's Sidian's turn. Samantha's going to get on in behind, and she's going to use her sword as well. Speed of 2 hits on a 5, thanks to the blind spot bonus. That would be 2 hits to the knee and the temple. The temple has a failure reaction, so let's start with the knee. She's going to wound on a 6, crit on a 10. So we wound the knee, and then we go for the temple. Wound on a 6, crit on a 10. Yeah, weapons are real good. We crit the temple. So wound. And the bone blade doesn't have any specialties, right? It's just frail. So if we hit a super dense location, it breaks. Critical wound. The blow wallops the white lion's head, causing shockwaves of blinding pain. It's a persistent injury. Whenever the white lion draws an AI card, roll 1d10. If it's a 1 or a 2, discard the card and end the turn. I'm rolling like you did yesterday. Yeah, apparently. So there's Samantha's turn. Tamio. We don't need no long grass. Up you go. Up you go. Bite that lion in the side. Gonna hit on an 8. Pretty unlikely to hit. We don't hit. So there we go. Next turn, move the monster controller over to blue. So we draw the AI card, power swat, and then we roll this. And if it's a 1 or a 2, nothing happens. Nothing happened. Damn. Told you these fights aren't always as difficult as they've been the last 2 times. Okay, so it's our turn. Briscoe, I guess you can get out of the way and go and bite this lion in the side. We're going to hit on an 8. 1 hit. Briscoe bites the soft belly. Wound on an 8, crit on a 9. Oh. It was on the edge for so long. We miss. No reaction. That's fine. That's Briscoe's turn. All right, let's go with Sidian and his scrap sword. Hit on a 4, thanks to the blind spot. 1 hit. Sidian hits the beast's tail. Reflex. If we don't crit, it's running away. We'll have to go after it. But at least it's running away to the grass, right? And nobody's in front. So we try to crit. We we wound on a 5, crit on a 10. Oh, we fail. No wound. The white lion full moves forward in a straight line. So Sidian still has his move. So he can head over here. Now his turn's over. Samantha can't quite get there, so we could have her head on into the side and end her turn. Tamio, because Sidian went there, Tamio could have gotten a hit from the grass. we'll just send her on into the blind spot. So into the blind spot, she's going to bite from the blind spot, hitting on a 7. No hits. All right. Okay, not bad, not bad, not bad. We got 3 cards. We desperately need ground fighting to not be drawn here. Like really kind of super duper badly. Don't be ground fighting. Don't be ground fighting. Don't be ground fighting. It's not ground fighting. It's not ground fighting. It's not ground fighting. All right, so power SWAT. Closest threat facing in range, no facing. Closest threat in field of view. So this is where the columns and whatnot could be in handy. Like if Briscoe was here, he's not in the field of view. Crap, where was he? He was here. So everybody's in the field of view except for Tamio. And the closest is 1, 2, 3. The closest is red or blue. And unfortunately, the lion is going to move through Tamio, which is going to knock her down. Oh, yeah, sorry. The D10. The D10. Let's see if we hit her 1 or 2 and we just ignore it. We don't. We do it. Okay. So yeah, it's going to target red or blue. Sidian's got +2 evasion and a bit of armor. Blue has +1 evasion. Already has some arm damage. Speed of 1, accuracy of 2+, damage of 2. She's got more survival, so we'll target blue, which actually very nicely will put Sidian in the blind spot of the lion. So unfortunately, the shortest move is through the green, so Tamio gets knocked down. So that's a pain. And we target blue. So speed of 1, accuracy of 2, 3, thanks to the accuracy, 4. So 1 die hits on a 4. It hits, dealing 2 points of damage to her hands and knocking her back 6, but we're going to dodge. Easy peasy. Easy peasy. Our turn. I forgot to hit next turn. Let me individually click those. And everybody's dodge is refreshed. Everybody's dodge is refreshed. Okay, so we don't want Sidian to hit yet while she's in the way. We're going to have to move her around. Let's move her down beside Tamio. And let's have her sword from the side. She's going to hit on a 6. 1 hit with that 9. She hits the beast's femur. Wound on a 6, crit on a 10. That sure was a 1. Good job, Samantha, the voice of reason. Sidian 2's turn. Why is there a second doorbell? That's confusing to me. The first doorbell, I assume, was my Amazon shipment. Second doorbell. Because my singular Amazon shipment was shipped in 2 pieces by the same courier service, but I assume different drivers. Okay. So what were we doing? Sidian's turn to attack. So he hits on a 4 thanks to the blind spot bonus. 2 hits, 9 and an 8. We hit the flank and the tricep. Failure, basic action, wound, priority target. Yeah, sure. Let's go start with the flank. We wound on a 5 and crit on a 10. Do you want to know the hilarious thing about this Amazon order? I ordered a kitchen torch, the kind that you would make like creme brulee with, because I want to make some smoked cocktails, specifically a smoked old-fashioned. It was $24.99. To use your free Amazon Prime shipping, you have to buy something worth $25. So I needed something to put my order up a little bit. And so I found a small bag of Swedish fish, like the candy, for I think it was $1.10, and added that to the order. That means the first delivery was a bag of Swedish, like a small 100-gram bag of Swedish fish. And then this delivery was the actual torch that I wanted. Okay, so we wound on a 5, we crit on a 10. 8, we wound the flank. We said we were doing the flank first, yeah. The flank, so we wound the flank, discard a card, Sidian becomes the priority target. This means that when the lion chooses a target next time, it will pick Sidian, and then we discard the target. What kind of wood? I found a sample pack. So I've got maple, cedar, which I don't really plan on using. Cedar doesn't have that much flavor. I'm going to use that for like barbecuing salmon. Hickory, elder. Yeah, just those 4 because it was 8 boards. I'm specifically looking to try the hickory and the maple. So Sidian wounded that. We're going to go for the next wound on the tricep. Wound on a 5, crit on a 10. Hey, is that Sidian's second crit? We crit, which means ground fighting is out of play. The crit, the torn muscle causes agonizing pain. Discard 1 mood currently in play. This is the one we had before. There's no mood, but the lion does get knocked down. So, Tamio doesn't have a turn. That was Sidian's turn. Samantha's done. If Briscoe hits and wounds, this lion's dead. And it hasn't done any damage. The event did damage to us. Briscoe, get in there. Actually, Sidian didn't move, did he? Because he was already there. So let's move Sidian after his attack. Let's move him down 1 so that Briscoe can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know why I'm putting him in the blind spot. He's hitting on a 3. He's hitting on a 3. I still have 1 in discard. Oh, yeah. So we need 2 hits. We need 2 hits. So Briscoe's going to hit on a 3 thanks to the knocked down lion. 2 hits. Beast's brow and the beast's ear reactions will not happen, including good ones. So neither of these are good ones, but there's some good reactions that are like, if you have understanding, gain a survival. No reactions happen when a monster is knocked down. So we'll start with the brow, wound on an 8, crit on a 9. Good job. Ear, wound on an 8, crit on a 9. Good job. Good job, Briscoe. You showed him with those double skulls. That's the end of our turn. Next turn, move the monster controller over. Lion stands up. Let's put this card back over, shuffle this deck of 1, draw it. Let's roll to see if it gets discarded. Gets discarded on a 1 or a 2. Gets discarded. Doesn't even happen. Nice. Also, that was 3 skulls in a row. Luckily, one of them was a good skull. All right. Tamio gets to stand up. This fight's amazing. Sidian, stab it. Stab it from behind. Hit on a 4. 2 hits. The chest with a failure run. And the beast's paw with a failure basic attack with +2 damage. Let's... I guess we want to do this. We need to do this first because if we fail here, it runs away and we'll have to go after it. If we fail here, A, it attacks you. B, it's facing you and Briscoe, which means if we fail again, it's going to run through both of you. So we're going to do chest first. Wound on a 5, crit on a 10. 7, we wound the chest, so it does not run away. There goes the last attack. Beast's paw, wound on a 5, crit on a 10. We wound. It's dead. It's dead. Oh, wow, that has a lot of weight on it. I wanted to throw it. There we go. It's dead. Easy. Easy. See, you don't always brutally die. Don't always brutally die. And we got a tail and a hide. All right, so we killed the lion. That means that we get +1 hunt XP for everybody. +1 hunt XP. +1 hunt XP. We'll come back to Samantha in a second. Briscoe gets 1. Samantha gets 1. And you'll notice we have a bolded box. That means we do our first age. So normally this is in the book, but luckily this mod has the pages torn out of the book down here as well. So age, your time in the darkness changes you. Gain the benefits of the Hunt XP milestone you have reached. A survivor can only gain each milestone once. Weapon proficiency, you can now select a weapon type for weapon proficiency. So weapon proficiency, if you wound a monster with that weapon, and that's the thing I always forget about, you have to wound it with that weapon. Then you get a point of weapon proficiency at the end of the fight. And as you become proficient, you get special abilities. If you become a weapon master, everybody in the settlement gets the specialty. And there's a couple that are incredibly good. We don't get weapon proficiency this fight because nobody has weapon proficiency yet. They didn't have it at the start. And unfortunately, nobody else has aged up. So nobody else even gets to get weapon proficiency other than Samantha here. We also get to roll on this table, 2d10. We get a 14, which is gain 1 random fighting art. So let's go up to the fighting arts. Let's reset that deck, shuffle up, pull the card out, reset the deck again. Samantha's fighting art is Timeless Eye. Your attack roll is a perfect hit on a 9 or a 10. You can't use this if you're blind. Okay, she doesn't have anything that cares about perfect hits. We might take Sidian's sword away and give it to her, because that does care about perfect hits, by the by. She can't choose. She can choose whatever she wants as a proficiency. So she can choose sword, and then we can give her the scrap sword, which cares about perfect hits. Do you have to use survival for the arts? No, the arts are just sort of always in play. Just sort of always in play. I mean, Sidian, you showed up naked, covered in blood, with a founding stone. Just mean if she had to choose a Oh, does she have to choose her weapon type now? No. You choose your weapon type when you depart, technically, and then you can change it at any time, but you do have to get rid of all of your boxes that you filled in. But we are going to give her the sword, and we know we're going to give her the sword. Whatchamacallit. Yeah, so there's the Hunt XP for everybody. Now everybody would get weapon proficiency, but nobody had weapon proficiency at the start of the battle. So then we get ourselves the rewards, which is 4 basic resources, 4 white lion resources. So we get ourselves some white fur, a curious hand. When you gain this, a random survivor gains an insanity. I reroll on 9s and 10s. So 7 would be blue. Enjoy your insanity. So what do we got? 2 things so far. We get a grape cat bone, and we get more white fur. Did you see Qatar as a weapon type? You did. It does have punching daggers. They're sort of good. They have a speed of 3, and you actually make 2 of them and pair them. Speed of 3 can be very dangerous when we get into fights like the Butcher, where there's trap cards that you really desperately don't want to hit. And if you hit more often, you're going to be drawing more hit locations. You're more likely to do it. But there are people who love themselves some Qatars. Basic resources, we get 4 of these. We get a monster organ, we get monster bone, we get monster hide, and we get whatever the heck that is. This can be used as an organ or a hide or a bone. Also means you're more likely to wound if you hit more often. Yeah, but if you hit that trap, all those hit locations just go away. You don't get to do your wounds. So there's upsides, but it is a gamble. It is a gamble. Okay, so we killed that lion. There's one other thing that we've never seen before because we have not killed a lion before. The first time the white lion is defeated, add Caterium to the settlement locations. So we get a new settlement location down here called the Caterium. As you would expect, the Caterium is where you turn cat bits into cat stuff. This is where we build the Lioned Beast Qatars. You'd need a table just to have it left out on. Yeah, it's not a bad idea. There's some people I see who have those medical carts, like the 3-tiered medical carts, and they put all the stuff on it, and then they wheel the cart around to pull out cards as they need it. It takes some space. Cat armor seems decent. Rawhide is better, as is leather. Cat armor has some very specific things that you might want it. It looks cool. But rawhide is king. Very king. This is my understanding of one of the things that the community edition does a lot better is it makes, I think, based on my reading, or at least the intention, is that it tries to make everything kind of relevant. Like you want to make, the whisker harp. I don't think the whisker harp's very good. The community edition tries to make the whisker harp be something that you could make and could have an effect. Whereas if you're really attempting to win, you should build your rawhide, build your leather, get your cab bow, get your spear maybe, etc. Yeah, we want a bow as soon as possible. Unfortunately, we did not get any sinew, but a bow is something we are desperately looking for. Okay, so we finished that up. So it's time for the settlement phase. So we set up the survivors return, so they heal. We get our endeavors. 1, 2, 3, 4. Problem with the harp and other loud items is there's an event that immediately kills the bearer. Yeah. Yeah. Wish you could play this game with anyone who could teach you how to play this. So if you've got Tabletop Simulator and you do this mod, the tutorial in the book is great. It walks you through, like step by step, the first several turns. It's scripted, like what card's going to be drawn. It's really, really good tutorial. So we get our endeavors. Now we update the timeline. So Lantern Year 3, there's no events this year, which is good. Next year, the Butcher shows up. That won't be for this stream, but that's going to be... I don't know what we're going to do about that. I don't know what we're going to do about that at all. At all. Is there a good manual, or should you download it from elsewhere? If you just use this is in the workshop. So if you go to the Steam workshop, you can download this. And the book, like the entire instruction, this is the instruction book right here. And the tutorial. How do I get, what's the tutorial called? Prologue? Prologue. The tutorial here is great. Like, it tells you every single step. It tells you that you're going to draw the claw attack, and it tells you what the claw attack does and how it all works. And it's totally scripted the first few turns. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. And yeah, it's literally what you're seeing here is the Tabletop Simulator mod. So we've updated the timeline. We have to do our random event for the year. It's time for the plague. Sickness sweeps through the settlement. Survivors are stricken without warning, made too weak to even care for themselves. Select 4 survivors with at least 1 hunt XP. They are infected. Each one rolls 1d10. Well, if I'm not mistaken, we have 4 people who have hunt XP. And that would be the 4 people that just went on that fight. Have I tried any of the other campaigns? I have not, because I haven't even completed one of these campaigns. I keep restarting all the time because I'll get to a point where I'm like, oh, I messed up this rule for 10 Lantern years. I'll just restart. The campaign I'm playing off stream right now, I'm attempting to actually play through and die a bunch and get all the lost settlement benefits. Okay, so everybody, all 4 of these people are infected. Let me grab some dice for them. Roll a 1d10 for everybody. Sidian dies. The infection spreads. Add plague to the next Lantern year on the timeline, if it's not already there. So next year we'll have some plague. Goodbye, Sidian. It was great of you to be here for a bit. You showed up naked, covered in blood from the shadows. You brutalized a lion, and now you're dead. Goodbye, Sidian 2. What else did we get? We got a 3, a 7, and an 8. So 3, does the settlement have bloodletting? No. Your body tries to fight the infection. Unless you survive treatment, you will die at the end of the settlement phase. So that's Briscoe. So Briscoe is going to die if we don't treat him. Oh, sorry, everybody's going to die. Everybody's going to die if we don't treat them. Everybody's going to die if we don't treat them. Okay. let's get our gear out. So we've got some hide, we got some bone, we got an organ, we got some hide, we got some bones, we got some hides, we got some hides, we got some hides, we got a tick, and we got some hides. How you treat them is pretty easy. So you spend an endeavor, and on a 1 through an 8, you treat them. On a 9, you treat everybody. So it's not awful, it's just going to cost our endeavors, which actually isn't that big of a deal because we're not using the endeavors for much else. We're going to innovate this year, but that's about it. Oh, I have to have ammonia? Oh, I have to have ammonia. I have to have ammonia. We do not. We have no innovations because this is like the first year that we actually beat the lion. I guess we beat the prologue lion. All right, so we've got one chance to hit ammonia by innovating. Let's do that battle. So we can spend an endeavor token. You can only innovate once per settlement phase. We spend the endeavor token and an organ, a bone, and a hide, and we innovate. We hope that we hit ammonia. If we don't, they're all dead. If we don't, they're all dead. And remember, the plague is also coming back next year. Oh, this game got us good. Dirk, Magician with the most kills, Can Spice with the most assists, 6 gold to everybody. Healer to Gelnek, gold to AGL Zaka. Let's continue heading towards that blue chest. Pop your units in every 5 minutes. We'll get back to that. All right. So what happens? Like, what happens if we lose 3 here, we go to 7? And then what happens if next year we lose all 4 again to the plague? We go to 3? And then the butcher probably kills them. Depending how fast we play this and what time it's at, we might finish this campaign today. And then next week start another new one. But as I said in Discord, there is a game over page. And the game over explains how to begin your next game. As you accrue game overs, you actually do get some bonuses. They're not amazing, but you get a little bit of bonuses. You've drawn the Gorm event like 4 times in your games. Your fellow players forbid you to draw any more events after that. Fair. I've only briefly played with the Gorm, but I do want to start getting into the expansions at some point. All right, time to innovate. We spend an endeavor. We spend a basic hide, a basic bone, and this basic organ to innovate. There are 6 cards in this deck. One of them is ammonia. We draw 2. And we pick one. We got the incredibly important innovation of drums. And we got ammonia. We got ammonia. A pungent bilious substance ideal for crafting leather and treating wounds. Departing survivors gain +1 survival, and we need to put the ammonia consequences into our deck. So now we can potentially learn bloodletting and lantern oven. So now we spend an endeavor to do the treatment. Let's say that this treatment is for who is most important. Samantha has sword and stuff. She's at the ready. This is Samantha's treatment. We roll an 8. Samantha is treated. Let's roll for Tamio. Tamio is treated. I guess it's fine that we deleted that. We'll roll for Briscoe. Briscoe is going to be treated. Maybe we treat everybody. Oh, wait. No, we do have to roll because if we do hit that 9, we remove plague from the timeline. So this is Briscoe's roll for treatment. We don't remove plague. So plague will be back next year. Plague will be back next year. It's pretty easy, but the travel there for higher level fights can be bad for the Gorm. That makes sense. All right. Well, we healed everybody this year. Everybody who got the plague this year lived. Just ignore what happened to Sidian. Okay, so we can now do some stuff. We want Samantha to have the scrap sword. Technically, we're not doing this right now. Technically, this is part of the departing, whatever. We want Samantha to have this rawhide armor. She's already got the boots. Because what we're going to do is we're going to finish Samantha's armor. She has headband, vest, gloves, boots. She needs pants. She needs pants. So we're going to make her some pants. Let's use a hide. Let's get her some pants. Got herself some pants. Let's give her some pants. She no longer needs the loincloth. So, how did Sidian die? The plague. The plague got him. So she now has every piece of rawhide armor. She gets an armor set bonus, and this thing is huge. See those numbers? They all went up by 1. That's because every single hit location gets an armor boost for having a full set, and the rawhide armor, when you do a survival action, like dodging, roll a 1d10 on a 6 or higher, you get the survival back. So she can dodge and maybe, 50%, keep that survival point. Huge bonus for having a full rawhide armor set. And I might actually make another rawhide armor set. Because we've got 5 more pieces. We could make another rawhide armor set, and we could make bone darts. 40%, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 50%. I do the exact same math mistake you just did, Ursula, every single time. Every single time with a die roll. I don't know why, but for some reason, yeah, instantaneously, I'm like, a 6 or higher. That must be 40%. I don't know why I make that mistake, but I do every time. Bone darts are pretty great. The trick is we are fighting the butcher next year, and the butcher has super dense locations, which means we might bone dart him and the darts break. Yeah, it's 6 inclusive, and I'm shorting to not inclusive. That makes sense. I'm thinking we make a second full armor set. Because then we have Samantha the scrap sword proficiency person. We have somebody with a bone blade. We have somebody with bone darts, and we have a fist and tooth person. I don't think there's any better options. Because we're not really using the hide for anything else. I obviously do want to get the spear, but we don't have claws. I want the catgut bow, but we don't have sinew. I wouldn't mind some Lucky Charms, but we're already out of organs. Damn, I want some Lucky Charms. There was a bakery here that had Lucky Charm cupcakes the other day. We could make bandages, which are vital for the butcher, but I think we just go for the second set and we make bone darts. Yeah, we don't have any of the good lion materials. We really, I mean, do you need, wait for is always for like the, yeah, we don't have the claws. We have the great cat bone, but we don't have the claws. So yeah, let's use these 5, because this one can be anything. It can be organ, bone, or hide. This is 3rd lantern year. Or no, we're we're in the 3rd lantern year, which means we will be doing our 3rd hunt. Yeah, so we're going to use 5 hides to make 5 pieces of rawhide armor to make another full set. Which I don't need to use that pile. I can just grab it from her. So the full set will go to the other swords person. Let's do that. So headband, vest, gloves, pants, boots. You'd put them on fist and tooth. I can see that. When do we eat the tick? Maybe now. Maybe now. Technically never, but maybe now. We have 10 people left alive. How do we still? Oh, because we had all those people who didn't die yet. I'm not attached to this campaign because I do suspect we'll be starting a new one within a couple weeks. So let's name a new survivor. Ursula, you want it to be you? Your name? Ursula, get a survival. Let's spawn Ursula. Let's go with the axe. Oh yeah, when Sidian died, because of Graves, we do get an extra endeavor. So maybe we can make some babies or something. And now Ursula's going to eat a tick. 1 to 3. She dies. We get an extra endeavor. Pack that survivor up. Delete that box. Ursula's dead. But hey, we got an extra endeavor. I think we're going to augury because we don't really have anything else to spend those endeavors on. Can we treat if there's nobody left to treat? It seems like it. It seems like we could treat without anybody to treat to potentially remove the plague next year. I think I get 2 from deaths during Showdown. Sidian didn't die in the Showdown. He died from the plague during settlement. Yeah. You need an infected survivor? It doesn't say it. Right? It says treatment, roll 1d10. On a 1 to 8, you select an infected survivor. On a 9+, all infected survivors receive treatment. And then the plague is removed from the timeline. You're so used to the TPK's fair. If the plague is latent, there's nothing to treat. That's fair. Let's do augury. I think watching this made you re-download XCOM. I really need to play XCOM 2 and Chimera Squad. I have them. I've had them for a long time. I think we can roll. I'm just wondering if we want to try to get babies. Because we don't have survival of the fittest yet, and that changes the game. Let's try to make babies. So we're going to do an augury roll using, give me a random, I kind of wish I could hide dead survivors in this interface. Give me a random male name. Isaac. Isaac here is going to do some augury. So augury is a feature of the organ grinder. The survivor endeavors to glean the meaning of existence. You roll on the table, you add 1 if your understanding is 3 or higher. We potentially are going to lose a resource and gain an understanding. Potentially, he's going to gain a survival. Potentially, he's going to have some intimacy. It's a 2. So we lose a resource. Oh, the tick was eaten, so the tick is gone. So we lose the great cat bones, and Isaac gets himself an understanding. Isaac is going to augury again because we need survival of the fittest. There we go. Isaac gets it on with what female is still left alive? This unnamed survivor. Give me a name for this unnamed, potentially surviving mother. I hope. I real hope. Really hope. We really need her to survive this. Well, we don't need her to survive this. We need them both to not die. Jaya? All right, Jaya and Isaac are going to go have some intimacy. So when intimacy occurs, you roll a 1d10. You nominate one consenting male and one consenting female survivor and roll on the intimacy table. We almost got a 1. On a 1, the couple can't bear the weight of the world. They clasp hands and head on into the darkness and die, both of them. But we got a 9. The settlement celebrates a twice fortunate event. A pair of healthy newborn survivors enter the world. The settlement gains +2 population. Boop, boop. Let's go male, female. And the first time we have a birth, we get principal new life. The group must decide how to raise their young without mercy or with affection. We're going without mercy. This is arguably another one of the, correct choices. Apparently, prior to version 1.5, protect the young was the correct choice. Now, survival of the fittest is the correct choice. That's true. It doesn't have to be those two who do intimacy. The augury roll just says, go and do intimacy, at which point you then nominate 2 new survivors. So we are going to get ourselves survival of the fittest. Survival limit +1. Hey, look, that's pretty handy. When rolling on the intimacy event, story event, roll twice and pick the lowest result. That's very bad. All current and newborn survivors gain +1 strength and +1 evasion. Everybody. Nope, that's minus. Absolutely massive bonus here. Not Sidian because he's dead. Nor Ursula. This just made us way more survivable. And then as well, once per lifetime, a survivor can re-roll 1 die. They must keep the new die. The re-rolls are basically only used when you die because of intimacy. But technically, you could use them for anything. What does the other one give you? Garbage? Mostly garbage.
KDM.
Maverick Hut, thank you very much for the 4-month resub. So the other one gives you, when you roll on the intimacy story event, you roll twice and you pick one. And I guess the moral superiority that you're raising your children with affection. So without mercy, the toys are taken from the child and replaced with a cold stone face shard. Training begins immediately. Settlement gains survival of the fittest. Find and place the card on the settlement board. Roll 1d10. Yeah, it's like make babies versus make warriors. And we use this endeavor to make that baby. We get a 7. The child is raised as a pure warrior, leaving compassion and fear behind. The newborn survivor, and we had twins, remember, gain +2 courage, the tough fighting art, and 1 random disorder. So both of these are going to get them. So they get +2 courage. We need names for our twins, by the by. 1 male, 1 female. And they both get fighting arts and whatchamacallit. So we're going to need to spawn them. They'll get a survival for their name. Will and Rowan. Makes sense. So Will here gets a survival for being named. Gets the tough fighting art. Here it is. So the tough fighting art, when rolling on a severe injury table, unless you roll a 1, add 1 to the result. This does not include brain trauma. So unless your head explodes, your head probably doesn't explode. Did everyone die again? Just Sidian. Let's copy one of these because we need to give one to Rowan. And then, of course, this kid was just had its toys taken away. It's going to have a disorder. And that random disorder for Will is traumatized. Fair. Whenever you end your act adjacent to a monster, you are knocked down. We're going to probably want to make Will our ranged person or one of our ranged people if they even come into this hunt. I don't think they're going to be hunting just yet. Let's pack Will up for the time being. And then let's spawn Rowan. Get a survival for being named. Spawn. Pop her box down. She gets tough. And her random disorder is... Yeah, we don't have a bow yet, but we want to get one. Her random disorder is post-traumatic stress. Next settlement phase, you do not contribute or participate in any endeavors. Skip the next hunt to recover. Interesting. So when she comes back from a hunt, she does not give an endeavor and she doesn't do anything and she has to skip the next hunt. So she's only going to ever hunt every other time. That's interesting. We're going to pack her away and probably not use her until we have to. Okay. What have we done? We've done all of our development. We've made all of our resources. We have no endeavors left. I think we get ready to depart on another hunt. Will's disorder was traumatized. He gets knocked down if he spends, or if he ends his turn beside the monster. So ideally, he's never beside the monster, which would make bow a very handy thing. Actually, did we make bone darts? We forgot to make the bone darts. Oh well. Yeah, we spent that resource from the augury. I remember that now. We should have made the bone darts. Oh well. I'm sure the butcher will just have a chat with us, right? The butcher won't do anything. It's just a cute little name. He calls himself the butcher. He doesn't actually butcher people. Yeah. I guess we're going to get ready to depart. So we need to send somebody out, and I guess we may as well send Will. Get him to start, no, because he doesn't have a ranged weapon yet, so we don't want to send Will just yet. We're going to go after the lion again. We need to get that bow really badly, and preferably a spear. We could send out... let's send out a random male. Pop a name. Oh, we made Isaac. Yeah, we made Isaac. Let's send the new father Isaac out. So here's Isaac. What are we currently using? Briscoe. So let's give Isaac this model. All right, so let's get ready to depart. We get strength and understanding when we leave. That was just the first time. It doesn't stay in play because that was the random event, right? All right, so when we depart, thanks to ammonia, everybody gets a survival. Oh, and all new survivors gain an understanding. I don't think I gave Will and Rowan their understanding. I did not. All right, so +1 survival to everybody. We are at 3. Yeah, we're at a survival limit of 3. So boop, 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 boop. Briscoe here has monster grease, so he's going to have an evasion. Samantha has monster grease, and she has the rawhide vest affinities completed, so she gets 2 evasion. We'll remember her perfect hit. She also gets +2 survival. She just gets 1. Does Isaac have 2 understanding? No, because he wasn't new, right? He only has the one understanding. I think. One evasion for Tamio, and then 2 evasion for Isaac, plus 2 survival. He can have 1. All right. We are ready to hunt another white lion. Let's clean up the showdown. Let's set up a hunt. And I'm going to take a quick break. We'll come back, and I guess we'll do some marbles. So let me save this, because we obviously have to close Tabletop Simulator to open up marbles. No, don't want to exit yet. Want to save. Save game. KDM stream hunt. So I'll be back in just a little bit. Words on Stream is working today, so you should be able to play it. I'll be back in just a little bit. We'll do a few marble races and then come back and hunt another white lion. So hang tight. We will be back in just a bit. Welcome back, YouTube. I don't know yet if I'm going to be splitting these videos into 2 parts or if I'll keep them as one video. We'll find out. So maybe this is halfway through the video. Maybe this is a brand new video. Welcome back either way, YouTube. We're about to go hunt the next white lion. We had a great hunt last time. Unfortunately, the plague swept through our settlement. But we're going to start out with marked territory. The white lion has marked this area. If any survivor has +3 understanding, they realize it's covered in ammonia. And if you don't already have ammonia, which we do, then we get it. I don't think anybody has +3 understanding anyways, so at least we already have ammonia. Ammonia is also incredibly important for leather making. And then we roll a random hunt event. 17. Face to face. Amidst the sea of stone faces, one catches the event revealer. I always do left to right for event revealer, so this will be whoever red was, Isaac. They feel compelled to investigate. Gain a courage. Let's do that. Boop. And then roll on the investigation table. So 1d10. 8. That's got to be good, right? 8+. The face is your own, but older and wiser. Gain a survival and an understanding. Boop. And we're already at max survival here. Not bad. Not bad. Could have been far worse. Lion sculpture. A crudely arranged effigy stands before the survivors, decorated with small metal trinkets, human fingers, and stuffed with dried tall grass. Their quarry's sculpture confounds the survivors. The survivors gaze at the arrangement, attempting to glean the substance of the white lion's bizarre inhuman intelligence. Each survivor gains an understanding and an insanity. This is a great event. So Isaac is going to get to do insight. So insanity, understanding, insanity. Who's this? Samantha's going to get to do insight. So we just had 2 people get understanding. This would be the insight roll here. Let's grab a die. So insight. In a single moment, the curtain of the world pulls back. Select the... I was going to say epiphany. I don't think epiphany is even here today. Select the epiphany corresponding to the current game phase. So we are in the hunt phase right now, which is this middle one. A survivor can only gain these benefits once. So hunt phase epiphany, you dream before you toiling silently. A strange creature with the imprint of a human face sculpts stone faces into the ground. You meet its concave gaze and wake. Gain the following ability and roll on the table below. So these 2 survivors now have Explore, and we'll go grab the card for that in a second. When you roll on an Investigate table, like the one we just did, add +2. And each of these survivors is going to get something here. So this will be Isaac. Isaac gets to re-roll a hunt event once, a hunt event result once this hunt phase. Not a great result, but maybe it'll be useful. And then this will be Samantha. Samantha gets +1 permanent accuracy. That's pretty good. +1 permanent accuracy. And he gets to re-roll a hunt event result at some point. Feel the art for the understanding stuff is a bit too anime for the game. You should look more into this game. There's a lot of anime BS in this game. And or in the Kingdom Death universe of miniatures. I believe the designer loves himself some anime. Explore is an ability. Oh, it's right there on top. There we go. All right, so Isaac gets Explore. If you go and look at the promo miniatures, ooh, it's anime and a half. All right, so we did that, and now we do the random hunt event for this lion sculpture. 663. Because, like, that's pretty anime, too. This is not as anime as Explore, but it's pretty anime. 63 faces. The stone faces ahead are replaced by an expanse of stone feet sprouting from the ground. The survivors walk soul to soul with the feet. If any survivor is insane, nobody's insane. We haven't actually gotten much insanity lately. Being insane, by the way, I don't think I've ever really explained this, is 3+. If you're 3+, you're insane. But we have nobody insane. What would have happened? They're convinced they've reached the underside of the world. They clutch the ground for dear life, terrified of falling off. This chair's very squeaky. Their terror slows down their survivors, attracts unwanted attention. Roll the damage. If any are feet, ignore it. Survivors are dead. If everybody's insane, they're all dead. Unless we chose survival of the fittest. If they did, the survivors bite on the feet. Their teeth grind against stone. The feet shatter. Everybody goes back to 0 and everybody has a shattered jaw. Wow. That's some imagery there. The outcome is nothing happens because nobody's insane, which is good. On to a random hunt event. 55. Mudslide. A flash mudslide sweeps the survivors away. Each survivor rolls 1d10. If any survivor has a whip, we do not. All right, so each survivor. 5991. So 1, so this is the far right person. You're violently swept along, drowning in mud, suffer 2 event damage to a random hit location, and archive all fragile and soluble gear. Roll again on the table. Okay, so he takes 2 event damage to the body. So boop, boop. Monster grease is soluble. Goodbye to that. Is it worth re-rolling that? Probably not. Also, I don't know, can he re-roll it? Because it was Isaac that gets to re-roll. But the character's not dead. All they did was take some damage and lose monster grease. That's not the worst thing in the world. But he does have to roll again on the table, which is dumb. Two more damage. Hey, there's a damage die here. 2 more event damage to the arms. There's the 2 damage. Reroll on the table. Hey, he got a 10. It rerolls the event, not the result of the event. I don't think so. Reroll 1 hunt event result. I think. It depends on what a hunt event result is. I would think that's a result that occurs during a hunt event. Let's check the internet. without the exact text, I believe Annie. Wow, most people did not answer that specific question of this. We'd probably say the person who got that reward could use it whenever they wanted, even to reroll another Revealer's event. Yeah, I think it's a result on a table roll rather than a hunt event happening, I think. So what happened here? We finished his rolls because he hit a 10. So now we need to see what happens to everybody else still, eh? So he rolled a 10. You remember being pulled under, the sensation of mud forcing itself down your throat, then nothing else. After the mudslide passes, the other survivors find you unharmed, gain +1 insanity. So now the two that got 9 were green and blue. 9 is you reach higher ground, you're caked in mud, but otherwise unscathed. Good stuff. Yeah, totally unharmed. Totally unharmed, that fellow there. And 5 for Isaac. You manage to scramble to your feet, but not before taking a serious beating. Suffer 2 event damage to your body and archive all fragile and soluble gear. Does he have the sword? He has the sword. Wait, did it say fragile or frail? Fragile. Okay, the sword is not fragile, it is frail. But the monster grease is soluble. Reroll that result. No. No, it's a 70% chance that we're going to lose our monster grease and take 2 damage. Oh, it's my last event. Oh, it is my last event. Yeah, sure, we'll reroll that. 4. It happens. So his monster grease went away. So we need to take away his evasion and his evasion. Wow, this guy's back to being a starting character, except he doesn't even have a founding stone. Woof. Woof. Oh, also, almost forgot here. We got this person an full armor set. Yeah, there's no reason not to reroll that one, even though it was very unlikely. All right, we fight the lion. We fight the lion. I assume this fight won't be that bad, but like I said, the butcher's going to be... Yeah, but even on a roll of 1 or 2, well, I guess on the 1 or 2, we have to roll again, which means we'd most likely be taking 4 damage versus 2 damage. All right, let's set up this hunt, or let's set up the showdown. See if we can kill another lion. And then see what happens from there. Oh, yeah, sorry, he takes 2 damage. 2 event damage to the arms. Boop, boop. All right, so let's get rid of this priority target token. Let's set up our usual grass setup here. Anything else we need to remember exactly? Just that she hits a little bit more perfectly. So we've got 2 Arcanthus plants here. So Arcanthus is the thing that lets us grab some herbs. They have to be 6 spaces away from all other Arcanthus plants. I have to remember that I can be adjacent to activate these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we get the Nightmare Tree, which I don't really interact with. So it's huge. It blocks field of view and whatnot for survivors and monsters. It's impassable, meaning survivors cannot move through this tree. You can activate it if you're beside it. Each survivor can do it once, and you either take an arm damage and find a lonely ant, you get knocked down, or you get a broken lantern. I suspect the reason that I probably don't use this very much is because I typically don't get far enough to need to melt broken lanterns down into iron. I suspect that's what you're using the Nightmare Tree for. So the Nightmare Tree has to be 5 spaces away from board edges. We'll put it up here and we'll probably not interact with it. So It's fight time. Want to become famous? Not really. Not really, Spambot. Not really. Isaac damage was a body? Oh, did it specify body? Oh, I see. 1 and 2 was random. The rest were explicitly to the body. Good catch, good catch, good catch. Let's get back to that white lion. Not that I specifically need this page, but it's handy to have. Why don't I want to be famous? All right. Just want to do a little bit of housekeeping here, get my dice back separated for all my survivors. Let's begin. Shuffle up the decks. Combo Claw is the lion's first attack. Closest threat facing in range. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So everybody is closest. Everybody is facing. Everybody is in range. So he's going to go after Isaac because he's the monster controller. So hey, he gets an insanity for targeting himself. The white lion is going to move. And it's going to attack with a speed of 2, an accuracy of 4, 5, 6 because he's in grass, 7, 8 thanks to his evasion. This lion's going to hit on an 8 or higher. It's going to do a damage. And if it does a damage, or sorry, if it deals damage more than once, you draw an additional AI card. So hits on an 8 or higher, we said. Miss and a miss. Cool. This is why evasion is very important. It drastically changes the way that events like this play out. Or at least specifically the white lion. Be prepared for tougher fights that don't give a damn about your evasion. All right, so I think well, no, Isaac's got a sword, right? We should have Tamio or Briscoe be the ones to go and gather some herbs, because otherwise they're just trying to bite the lion. So let's have Isaac. Can Isaac get out of here easily? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can't really get him behind. I definitely want Samantha to go here. It's kind of an awkward spot. I should have actually switched them around, I guess. If Tamio moves first, he can get behind. Yeah, but she can't get this to this Arcanthus that I want her to get to. I guess she could go and do this Arcanthus, and Briscoe can just come up and bite the lion in the butt. Although Isaac will be there, but he can get around. So yeah, let's have Tamio head over here, and she's going to go pick some grass. It's a 2. Something bites you. Suffer an arm damage and archive the terrain. Good job, Tamio. Good job. All right, time for Isaac to get in behind this lion and attack with his bone blade. Speed of 2, so we're going to roll 2 dice. We're going to hit on a 5 thanks to the accuracy bonus. Hey, we get 2 hits. We hit the flank and the soft belly. Let's go for the soft belly because it has no reaction first. We wound on a 5, crit on a 10. We wound. We wound the soft belly. And then we're going to go for the other one. Wound on a 5, crit on a 10. Nope. We did not wound it, so no reaction. Notice how you're not hearing it's going poorly. Fair. Fair. That's Isaac's turn. Let's have Samantha come on in with her scrap sword. Hits on a 3, thanks to that accuracy bonus she got. 2 hits. No perfect hit, though. She hits the knee and the brow. We'll start with the knee. Wounds on a 4, crits on a 10. We wound the knee. Going for the brow, wound on a 4, crit on a 10. We wound the brow, and snarling, the monster swats at its attacker. Attacker suffers a brain damage, and perform basic action targeting the attacker. So that's going to be 2, 3, 4, 5. Hits on a 5 or higher, that is 2 hits dealing a damage each to arms and body. Boop and boop. Finally, we have Briscoe, who is a little bit less interested in attacking that lion if it's going to rampage over top of 2 people. Doesn't she have the thing that crits on a 9, or is that not about crits? That was hits. She perfect hits on a 9. So when we're rolling to see if we get a wound, he could go for the tree. He could reach the tree. But again, the tree is like 30% chance of being knocked down, 20% chance of taking an arm damage to get an ant, and then 50% chance of getting a broken lantern that we don't need. So there's no real interest in getting the tree. Her having a 20% chance to have +4 strength. Yeah, that scrap sword is nuts. That might be the thing that keeps us in this campaign a little bit longer than we otherwise should be. All right, Briscoe, where can you go? You can just get to the lion. Yeah, he can attack the lion's left side. But then if we get a bad reaction, the lion's running over those 2. Those 2 have armor, though, so it's not the worst. And they would stand up at the start of the next turn. So it's not the worst. Briscoe, over you go. Bite that lion. Hits on an 8. 1 hit. Trap card. So it attacks Briscoe for accuracy of 1, 2, 3. Hits on a 3 or higher. 2 damage. 1 to the body and 1 to the body. Briscoe gets 2 severe injury rolls because the first point of damage can't hit the body. It has to be a roll. And then the second point of damage can't hit the body. It has to be the roll. I don't know that Briscoe's going to live through this. Briscoe is fodder. And these cannot be dodged. No, you can't actually dodge. You can't do any survival actions during your attack anyway. And you definitely cannot during a trap card. All right. First body roll. 9. Don't you only roll once? If it was one damage roll dealing 2 points to the body, yes. But it was 1 roll doing 1 damage to the body and 1 roll doing 1 damage to the body. So it was 2 separate things that are happening. It's basically the worst case scenario. Collapsed lung. You can't catch a breath, gain -1 movement, and gain a bleeding. So it's not a permanent injury. We got that going for us. Bleeding and -1 movement. So that this is where you would use a temporary token. So -1 movement. Next body roll. 10, bowled over. Knockdown. Well done, Briscoe. Well done. Didn't expect it to go that handy. Next turn. All right. The lion is enraged. I think some of you remember what enraged does. When this comes into play, draw an AI card. While enraged is in play, the white lion gains +1 damage token per monster level, meaning it's going to do 2 damage on all of its attacks. Yeah, Alto Guy knows what this does. And we get rid of this mood when somebody is dismembered or killed. So the lion's actual attack is Power Swat. Closest threat facing in range, the white lion is not facing any threats because Briscoe is not a threat. Closest threat in field of view would be blue or red. This is Green's monster controller turn. So evasion 3, evasion 2. I guess we're targeting blue. She should be able to dodge pretty well, though. How did the lion get enraged? It's just the start of the turn. It was just the card that we drew. Yeah, it's just in the deck. There's mood cards. So the white lion, this is why what the game is really cool. The white lion doesn't have a deck. The white lion level 1 gets 7 random basic cards and 3 random advanced cards. There's still 6 advanced cards and 5 basic cards not in this deck. So your lion is different every single time you go hunting. So you can find really easy lions. You can find really difficult lions. Yeah, we didn't even take its balls this time. So speed of 1, accuracy of 2, 3, 4, 5. So hits on a 5+ just rolls 1 die and we can dodge it. And it misses anyways, which is good because it would have done 3 damage and knocked her back if we didn't dodge. But it missed. And we reshuffle the hit location deck because of that trap card. All right. So Briscoe was knocked down. Last turn, he gets to stand up. Let's have Isaac go in behind and attack because, again, she's got armor. It's not the worst thing in the world if she gets grabbed. Exactly. So let's have Isaac get behind and attack with the sword. Hits on a 5 or higher. 9 and a 9. We got the beast's maw. Don't know how he's doing that from behind. Must be a really long sword. The failure is him potentially getting knocked down. So we'll do that second. So we'll start with the femur. Wound on a 5, crit on a 10. We do not wound the femur. Let's go for the maw. Wound on a 5, crit on a 10. Whew, got the wound. No failure. It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. Your white lion run was godlike because it kept drawing the attack someone knocked down if it can't sniff. Ooh, yeah. It's a pretty good loop. Because sniff is just like, whatever. So that's Isaac's turn. We will have some Briscoe, you're in the damn way. You're in the way. Briscoe, head over here and go pick some leaves. Pick some leaves. 8. It'd be funny if he got arm damage and died from picking the leaves. 8. We get a fresh Arcanthus. And we archive the terrain. Where's fresh Arcanthus? It's in the strange resources, right? Yeah. So we've got fresh Arcanthus on us at the moment. Archive this to fully heal 1 hit location, including injury levels and armor points. We don't necessarily want to use this. If we get it back to the settlement, we can dry it. And it becomes a resource that I think gives survival on depart. And then we can also archive it to say, no, we're not rolling a severe injury roll. To hell with you. Can you make a garden and grow it? I don't believe so in the base game. I would not be shocked if there's an expansion somewhere or coming that has gardening in it. So he gets the fresh Arcanthus. That's his turn. Now Samantha can come behind and she can attack with the scrap sword. Remember, she perfect hits on a 9. Otherwise, what does she hit on? 3 or higher. So she gets 2 hits. She hits the soft belly and the temple. Let's start with the one that does not have a reaction. Wound on a 4, crit on a 10. We wound the soft belly. And then the temple. Wound on a 4, crit on a 10. That dies on the edge, but Tabletop Simulator is saying it's a 10. Yeah, archive is put back into the box. We crit on the beast's temple. We get a wound, and it's a persistent injury. The blow wallops the white lion's head, causing shockwaves of blinding pain. Whenever the white lion draws an AI card, roll a 1d10. If it's a 1 or a 2, we discard the card. That's great. That's great. That's Samantha's turn done. So now we just have Tamio. Tamio's going to head on into the grass and bite this lion on the ass, I guess. Also, I'm going to make a note here. I've been doing this lately to finally remind myself. She wounded with a sword. So she will get sword weapon proficiency if she survives. All right, so let's get that battle done just before Tamio tries to bite this lion. Oh, my back. Man, I enjoy this game. A lot. a lot. And I'm super excited to build the models and paint them and actually play it physically. AGL Zaka with the most kills, Dirk Magician with the most assists, Skin Chest, 8 gold to everybody, 200 gold to Can Spice, and a Flying Rogue to AGL Zaka. Let's head on into this battle. So much more fun than Magic. Yeah. Arena. Yes. All right, so she's going to bite this lion. She hits on an 8. Good try. Next turn. Let's move this over to Samantha. So the white lion is going to attempt to grasp, but because of the persistent injury to the temple, we got a roll. 1 or a 2, we discard the card. It's going to grasp, okay. Not thrilled about Arena lately. Watch this all day. Sounds good. Closest knockdown survivor in range. Nope. Closest survivor in range. So that's green, red, or blue, because it doesn't say anything about field of view. It just says range. So if we pick blue, she would get an insanity. If we pick red, there's a +2 evasion. So we're going to pick red, I think, here. So boop, boop. Speed of 1, accuracy of 2, 3, 4 because of the grass, 5, 6 because of his evasion. So 6 or higher to do a damage. It hits, so it would do 1, 2 damage thanks to enraged, and then run away with him. So he's going to dodge. So he spends a survival to dodge. Because he has the rawhide armor bonus, we did roll for the AI card, yeah. We hit like an 8 or something. He gets to roll a 1d10, and if he hits a 6 or higher, he gets that survival point back. He doesn't get that survival point back. That's fine. These hunts would be an ideal time for point betting if you wanted to. Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of really fun predictions that we could do. But obviously I am busy, so it can't be me that does it. So he misses. So it's time for us to attack. Unfortunately, everybody's in front. So I guess we start by moving our most valuable and move her in behind to do her attack. Assuming nothing bad happens, we'll move Isaac out, and then we'll look to get Briscoe moved out. So she's going to come in behind. She's going to hit on a 3 or higher thanks to the blind spot. She gets 2 hits. Neither are perfect. She hits the deltoid. If we fail, it's going to run forward. Oh, interesting. But if we fail on the paw first, he'll be facing her. She's going to take a lot of damage if it happens, but we'll go with the paw first. Wounds on a 4, crits on a 10. Ooh. Fudge. All right. So basic action with +2 damage, meaning this hit does 4 damage. No, sorry. Yeah, 4 damage, because 1 + 2 is 3, plus another 1 is 4. So this does 4 damage if it hits, and being the attacker, she can't dodge. And it's going to hit on 1, 2, and what's she? +3. So it's going to hit on a 5 or higher. 1 hit, doing 4 damage to the body. So there's nothing we can do about this, right? Nope. 1, 2, 3. And then that knocks her down. So she doesn't get to do this hit. And then body roll. 8. Broken rib. -1 speed. Gain a bleeding token. All right. -1 speed kind of hurts. That means she's rolling 1 less die basically forever. Oops. Broken ribs. Broken ribs, -1 permanent speed, and she gets 1 bleeding? 1 bleeding. Well. Well. Doesn't the plant cure that? No. Well, no, because Briscoe has the plant. She doesn't have the plant. And it also doesn't heal the permanent injury. It only heals injury levels and armor points. All right. So that was her turn. Isaac, hit from behind. Hits on a 5 or higher. 2 hits. Hitting the flank and the tricep. So basic action and priority target. I guess we'll go flank first. Wound on a 5, crit on a 10. We wound the flank, making Isaac priority target. Which is okay if he's just in the grass, right? He could just hide in the grass. Yeah, there are ways to heal permanent injuries, but they require innovations. You can get does bloodletting do it? There's various healing things, but they're not something we're just going to casually have this year or next year or in the next 5 years, probably. So his second attack is the tricep, or his second wound. Wounds on a 5, crits on a 10. Ooh, we crit the tricep. The torn muscle causes agonizing pain. Discard 1 mood in play. Goodbye, enraged. Although with 1 AI card left, it kind of would have been nice to not have to also make this one get wounded. And the white lion gets knocked down. I gave Tamio Samantha's -1 speed. Sure did. Good catch. All right, so Tamio gets to attack and hit on a 3. So she's going to do that. Oh, that was almost a 6. She gets 1 hit. The beast's brow. Wounds on a 7, crits on a 9. Hey, we wound the brow. There's no reaction because the lion is knocked down. That's her turn. All right, Briscoe. I need you. Where is beside the lion? Here is beside the lion. I need you to wound this and get rid of the enraged card, please. We won't kill the lion here, but we can get rid of enraged. Yeah, Briscoe, do something with your life. Actually, he could double wound the lion and win. So hits on a 3. 2 hits. Glorious Mane cannot result in an actual wound. And the knee. Let's go with the mane first. So wounds on a 7, crits on a 9. We don't wound or crit. So because this is impervious, you cannot ever do a wound. But if you do a critical, you do get some stuff. Back. All right, Briscoe. Bite that beast in the knee. Wound on a 7, crit on a 9. You tried. And you failed. Next turn, let's move this over to Briscoe. Lion stands up. We draw this. When this comes into play, draw an AI card. So we don't draw an AI card, or we try to draw an AI card and we cannot. So we do the basic action. And he's got the +1. Is Briscoe just useless? He seems pretty useless. So target is closest survivor field of survivor? Or wait. Closest survivor field of view in range. So that's priority target. We ignore literally everything there. Every single thing in that pick target. It says the word pick target. Cool. We pick this target. Even though he was not in field of view. So speed of 2, accuracy of 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And it's going to do 2 damage apiece. So 6 or higher. Miss. Samantha stands up. And yeah, we just need 1 wound. So, hey, Samantha, stab it in the butt. She's going to hit on a 3 or higher. 2 hits. The ribs and the ear. Is there one of these we want more than the other? Neither give us a resource. Does she have understanding? Ooh, she could get a survival if she wounds the ribs. Going for the ribs with the sword. She's going to wound on a 4, crit on a 10. She crits, which unfortunately cancels the reaction, which means we don't actually get the +1 survival. But hey, we killed the lion. Lion's dead. See? The lions aren't that hard, despite what our first 2 level 1 lions were like. The lions aren't that hard. So, everybody gets a hunt XP. Boop. She's going to age. Boop. And he's going to age. So let's age up our survivors here. So we'll age Tamio, and then we'll age Briscoe. Where'd my other die go? I took it over to the intimacy table. Let's copy that here. So she can now choose a weapon proficiency. Not 100% sure what it'll be just yet. We did kill it. 2d10 to see what we get. 6. So +1 permanent strength for Tamio. Nice. Maybe she'll be fist and tooth. Maybe. Who knows? We need a guitar user. We have to build the guitars first. Briscoe is up next. Briscoe is going to roll. Gets an 8, which is just a random fighting art. So let's reset the fighting art deck. Here is Briscoe's random fighting art. Briscoe, the Berserker. Once per showdown, you can spend an action point. This is the thing that we use to attack. To suffer bash, which knocks you down. And the frenzy brain trauma. We'll see the frenzy brain trauma in the next fight. We don't have to go look at that just yet. It's a weird brain trauma in that it is good and bad. There's a lot of upsides and a lot of downsides to frenzy. Daggers are better. Their proficiency and master are insane. I haven't actually used daggers either. I also just haven't really gotten people to mastery. I just got somebody to fist and tooth mastery for the first time ever in my off-stream campaign. So now we've done hunt XP. So now weapon proficiency to everybody who had weapon proficiency, which is just her. And resources. So let's do basic resources first. This should be refreshed. We didn't get any basic resources. We get an organ, a hide, a bone, and a bone. So white lion resources, we need a sinew. A sinew and a claw would be really nice. We get an eye of cat, which is also a very important resource. We get a tail. We get a fur. And a curious hand. We did not get the sinew. Random survivor gets an insanity. 4, 7, so that's blue, gets an insanity. And we head on back. There's a dagger that allows you to instantly wound a target. Then with dagger proficiency, you can look at the extra hit locations with every perfect hit. So you can essentially sort the hit location deck. Ooh, nice. Yeah, we can make darts. Four endeavors for our 4 returning survivors. Update the timeline. Year 4. So we don't do the plague yet. We draw our card first, and then we do the plague, and then we do our settlement stuff. And then we go and do a nemesis butcher hunt, or showdown technically. So we don't actually get to hunt a lion this year. We have to face the butcher. So random event. Don't be also the plague. Murder. It's murder. Seems like someone returned from the lion this time. We have just had 2 incredibly successful lion hunts. Plus a really bad settlement phase. Murder. Someone in the settlement has been murdered. The survivor with the highest hunt XP is the victim. They are dead. Pack her up. Boop. We keep the sword. The survivor with the highest insanity was caught in the act. So that's Isaac or Briscoe. I think we all know we're choosing Briscoe, right? I don't think anybody else had. Oh no, Lazarus is dead. Isaac Briscoe. Joyra's dead. Yeah, so we have to choose between Isaac and Briscoe. We're choosing Briscoe. What a dick, Briscoe. Select the table that corresponds with your settlement society principle. We don't have a society principle just yet. Are all of our females dying? They're not doing great. So we would get a society principle if we hit 15 survivors, I think. No society principle. Roll 1d10. 8. The murderer is heralded as the fiercest warrior in the settlement. Go Briscoe! They gain +1 permanent strength, +1 courage and understanding, and a skull helm. Presumably Samantha's skull. Add this settlement event to the timeline 1d5 years from now. So 4. So 4 years from now. 4 years from now, we're going to have murder. Because Briscoe apparently is not going to get enough. Although who knows if it'll be Briscoe again. So Briscoe gets a strength. Yeah, we might actually give Briscoe her armor and everything. Briscoe gets a strength. Briscoe gets a courage and an understanding. So he gets insight from what he did. So let's go over to the insight table. So this was the settlement phase, so he gets tinker. So when he's a returning survivor, we get an extra endeavor. And we roll on the table. He also gets, we get an extra endeavor this turn. And then he also gets the skull helm. Although he might not use it because we're going to give him the rawhide, I think. Yeah, we're going to give him her sword and her armor. Maybe Briscoe's not going to be as useless after all, despite killing our best person. Oh, I love this game so much. So back to the timeline, we got to do plague. So once again, sickness sweeps the settlement. Survivors are stricken without warning, made too weak to care. Select 4 survivors with at least 1 hunt XP. They are infected. I believe that's just our 3 that have returned. Tamio, Briscoe, Isaac. Yep. So those 3 have the plague. So now we have to see what happens to them. Briscoe, don't die from the friggin' plague. Thank you. Is that 3 10s? That looks like 3 10s. You make a full recovery. Just in time to die to the butcher. All right, so we've done the timeline. We've done the death count. Milestones. Still don't have 15 populations. Still don't have 5 innovations. Time to develop. So let's get our resources here. Pop them in. 3 10s means I get a free sinew. I wish. White fur, monster bone, lion tail, eye of cat, monster bone, monster hide, curious hand, monster organ, fresh arcanthus. Okay. So if we innovate, we'd be using monster organ, bone, and hide. And an innovation would be pretty damn useful because if we can get dash or surge, I think that's going to actually help us against the butcher here. And there's nothing that we can build that I'm actually desperate to build right now. I'm desperate to build the bow. I'm desperate to build the spear, but we don't have the stuff for that. So yeah, let's innovate. Looks like you lost a lot today, huh? Did you name a survivor? Is that what you mean by lost a lot? Or do you mean missed a lot? But yeah, we're going to do monster organ, bone, hide, and an endeavor to do an innovation. You want to kill the butcher as quickly as possible, so surge, yeah, that would be good. We have bloodletting and symposium. We have to take symposium. It's a very useful card because it lets us draw 4 innovation cards when we innovate. Bloodletting I've never used. So it gives us an endeavor. We spend a resource draw, or it doesn't give us an endeavor. It gives us an endeavor action. We spend an endeavor. Get a resource, roll a 1d10. Understanding but lose all survival. Gain insanity. Or get rid of a disorder. Or very specifically, the warped pelvis or intestinal prolapse injuries. We're going with symposium. So speed or survival limit +1, up to 4. We add the symposium innovation consequences, which would be storytelling and nightmare training. Pop them into the deck. Yeah, we did plague and we got triple 10s on the roll. So every single person was cured, and we don't put plague back on the timeline. Oof, sorry. All right, so we want bone darts. Whoa, I didn't mean to delete all those dice, but I can get those back. I think that's all I deleted, right? Yeah, just those dice there. So we're going to get bone darts so that we at least have a ranged thingy. Kind of sucks against the butcher since he does have some super dense areas. Bone darts to... Hameo, make yourself useful. So Eye of Cat, that's all we need for the circlet, right? Where is it? Yeah. So we can make the Eye of Cat circlet. Look at how useful this thing is. And I think we'll give this to Tamio as well. So it's not armor. It doesn't give us anything. But if she spends an action point She reveals the next 3 hit locations and puts them back in any order. We can, rearrange the top of the hit location deck. It's very handy. If we don't have a way of having an extra action, it means this person's not attacking, but that's not bad. And eventually we will have a way of spending a survival to get an extra action point, which is very, very handy. Yeah, we get to dodge the trap cards. We get to dodge, super dense locations if we're going to be trying to hit with a bone weapon. So this leaves us with Fresh Arcanthus, which will turn into Dried Arcanthus from the Organ Grinder? Organ Grinder. So we turn Fresh Arcanthus into Dried Arcanthus. Yeah, it's a late game item that you get in year 2. So Dried Arcanthus, when you depart, +2 survival. When you suffer a severe injury, you can instead ignore it and archive this card instead. I think we'll give that to Briscoe. And yeah, Briscoe's going to just whoop, take all of Samantha's stuff. There we go. Yep, we gave it to the murderer. You keep what you kill. There's only one monster that has more than one trap. If you draw both during the same attack, you die, no questions asked. Yeesh. And the armor thing also? What's the armor thing? Oh, yeah, the full armor set bonus. So that leaves us with 3 hides that we could use. They are all unique lion stuff. But not anything that we actually need. One was white fur, right? Yeah, so we have 1 white fur and 2 hides. So we could make a white lion coat, a white lion skirt, or white lion boots. Skirt is just 2 armor. Coat is 2 armor, and if you spend your movement and your action, you move 3 spaces in a straight line. Then if you moved 3 spaces, you activate a melee weapon with +1 strength. When do we fight level 2 lions? Quite a bit later. Very specifically, never if we don't have dash. Because level 2 white lions have a trait where at the start of their turn, if there's somebody adjacent, they grab them and they full move away. And the level 2 white lion has a movement of 8. So you need dash so that you can absolutely move away from the lion. Dash is the survival ability that gives you an extra movement action. So if you don't have that, you don't even think about it. Don't even think about it. So I don't really care about this coat. Yeah, I don't super care about any of this. I think we might just hold on to those resources. We could start on a 3rd rawhide set. We could augury a bit, yeah. But I mean, auguring, you don't have to spend a resource to augury. You only have to spend a resource if you roll a 1 to a 1, 2, or 3. And then you lose a resource to gain an understanding. So it's kind of somewhat preferable. I think we do want to make some babies. We've got 10 survivors right now. Also, I always forget about it. So I need to copy the survival of the fittest card and drop it down here and lock it so that I remember that we have to roll twice on the table. Yeah, heavy doesn't mean anything by itself, but there is disorders and stuff as well that interact with it. It's like gates in Magic. Gate doesn't mean anything, but there are cards that care about gate. Yeah, so I guess augury is the only thing we can spend our endeavors on. We could also do shared experience. So shared experience, it's very hard to read here because it's so small. But if anybody has 2 hunt experience more than somebody else, they can use an endeavor to give that person +1 experience, as long as they don't have a shattered jaw. We only have 2 people with +1, with 2 higher experience, though. We do not keep our unspent endeavors. So yeah, I think it's time for us to just augury. So we'll have, what do we get? Understanding? Understanding. Briscoe just popped. I think we'll have Tamio do augury. Crit. It's time for intimacy. So we pick 1 consenting male and 1 consenting female. Not picking Will and Rowan. No, Alto guy. No. What do we have unnamed? We've got an unnamed male here. Oh, we really need to birth some females. We've got Jaya sitting there. Let's have unnamed male and Jaya. So unnamed male and Jaya, we have to roll 2, and we have to keep the lowest one. So a 3 is the female dies during childbirth, which gives the male survivor a random disorder and +3 insanity. But one of the very interesting things that the designer of this game has said is, remember, we have those rerolls. And anyone in the settlement can use their reroll to help the couple. I don't get the flavor behind that, but the designer has said that's how it works. So we can just be like, hey, I mean, I guess we'll just use the unnamed male who's part of this anyways. What reroll? The survival of the fittest thing gives every single survivor a once-in-a-lifetime reroll. You see this reroll button right here. So unnamed male survivor is going to use his reroll on this 3. Well done. Well done. Well done. Well done. So the female survivor perishes. So goodbye, Jaya. We get a new survivor. Hello, unnamed female survivor. +1 strength, +1 evasion. Welcome to the world. Unnamed male survivor gets a random disorder and +3 insanity. Do we reroll again? You can't reroll again, I don't think. I believe it explicitly says they must keep this new result. Why do we get a new survivor? The mother died during childbirth. We still get the... Oh, with her child. Boop. We don't get the survivor either. They both die. And unnamed male survivor gets some bad stuff. We are running out of females. If we run out of females, we're not dead. We could still like happen upon one in a hunt event. Oops. Let's move those so that we can actually spawn him. So he gets +3 insanity, and he gets a random disorder. After the death of Jaya, this guy is a hoarder. Whenever you are a returning survivor, archive 1 resource gained from the last showdown and gain a courage. Yeah, we're just going to keep trying for babies. Like, that's kind of our thing right now. Let's get this battle going. And we're coming up on 6 o'clock. I don't think we're going to get to the butcher today, because I do need to make my salad. I feel the hunger. I feel the hunger real bad. Not real bad, but I'm hungry. At some point, we're going to be stuck forcing Will and Rowan to get intimate. Desperate times. Yada yada. We're not out of females. We've got Rowan and Tamio. I think that might be it. Coming on up to the end here. Wait till they get understanding. They can be like, they can look back at it and be like, huh? Yeah. They'll have understanding. They'll understand why all of this happened to them. This is a long battle. I have a feeling we didn't do this correctly. There's an archer just wandering over here. Is this good or is this bad? These are bad, I assume. Someday I should actually learn how these various special event fights work, eh? Come on. Get there. We go. I have the most kills. Can Spice with the most assists. Open that chest. 7 gold to everybody. Eidstro with a Centurion. Emgor with gold. And Zomboy Manager with 2 Musketeers. Get my stuff. Level 3 battle. I don't think we're going to have time to start a new battle. Is my stream usually only 1080p? Your internet is not liking it. As I'm an affiliate, not a partner, unfortunately, which is one of the reasons I really wanted to get to partner when we've been so close multiple times, I don't get to choose when I have encoding or not. It's random. Some days I have encoding, and you can pick what resolution you want. Other days, it's the resolution that I stream at, which is 1080p. It really sucks. Will and Rowan didn't have a kid. They did not attempt to have a kid. And the coupling that attempted to have a kid had the mother and child die. Yeah, it's due to their load balancing. So it's basically, if you start streaming when you happen to have time, when they happen to have an opening, you get encoding. Okay, so we have 9 survivors alive. I really wish there. Oh, we can actually. Yeah, these up and down arrows. We could probably do some sorting and just like push all the dead people down to the bottom. Oh, that's handy. This is riveting content, I'm sure. There is a delete button, but dead is only almost definitely dead. Only almost definitely dead. So you don't actually want to delete your characters. All right, I'm not doing all of these, but at least we moved some of the dead down to the bottom. And because I stared at that without blinking, my contacts are now ruined. Oh, all right. So we're going to try for some more babies here. Augury. Tamio is going to do the augury. Or it was Tamio who's almost understanding? Tamio's almost understanding. Tamio, augury. Intimacy time. Intimacy time. All right. So we need a consenting male and a consenting female. I guess we can do... Oh, who's this unnamed female? Hey, unnamed male, unnamed female. Have at it. Have at it. Okay, well, I guess we'll re-roll that too. So that the mother doesn't die. Unnamed female. Use your lifetime re-roll. 4! Hey, a new survivor is brought kicking and screaming into the world. The child's eyes are free of the ink that stained the founders' faces. The settlement gains +1 population. Hooray! Female, strength, evasion. Does everybody get understanding? And understanding. Hey, we got a new baby. We did it. We did it. We did it. Augury time. Tamio, because I kind of want to get her a +1 understanding. 6 is Survival. Enjoy, Tamio. You got a survival. We're at 4, right? Yeah, we're at 4. One more time, Tamio. Is there anybody else who's at 2 understanding? Or no, Tamio still hasn't got the understanding. Never mind. Never mind. I will say this is where I can see playing in a group being an upside, because you just kind of have to care about the character that you have in front of you instead of everything. But then there's the downside of you can play a lot faster when you're playing solo. So 4 is just +1 survival again, and she's at max. Cool. Okay. So. We have developed. We have crafted. It is time to prepare the departing survivors. There are 2 thoughts on what you do with the butcher, but also other nemesis fights as well. Some people say, gather up all that good gear and shove those babies that were just born into that gear and have them go get butchered. Some people say, send your A-team. Send your A-team and try to kill it. Because there's some resources that are handy. You're not going to get as many resources as you get from an actual monster, but there's some good stuff that you can get if you roll well. Eternal Magician, are you still here? What do you usually do? What does your group do? Do you just send in a bunch of meat shields, or do you actually attempt to win? I don't want... Actually, we could send this guy since we're not necessarily getting a whole bunch of resources. And we're at what, 10 survivors? I think maybe we send... Can we afford 4 deaths? Not really, but I also don't necessarily know that we're actually going to go with this. So I am thinking A-team. I'm thinking we're sending Briscoe, Tamio, Isaac, and this guy that had his partner die. And then I guess had babies with other people, right? Mm-hmm. Mm. Yeah, if we send in all of our like no names, we're left with like 1 female. We're down to 6 survivors. So we probably have to try to win it anyways. So let's gear up and prepare the survivors. And then I will spawn the butcher. We'll take a look at it. And that'll be the end of the stream. So, Briscoe, you get an evasion. For your monster grease, you get an evasion for your rawhide vest. You get a survival for your boots. You get survival for other things, but you're at max. Oh, we need a name for an unnamed person. And they'll get a survival for being named. And they have an No, they weren't new at the time, so they don't get the understanding. Laplace. I guess Briscoe can choose a proficiency as well. I guess he's the new sword master after killing Samantha. He doesn't get anything. Good luck, Laplace. Tamio gets an evasion thanks to the monster grease. And maybe we want to give monster grease to... Right, because we lost 2 of our monster greases. You're at 3 evasion. Yeah, I'm going to give the monster grease to the person who's got the melee weapon versus the ranged weapon. So you get 2 evasion for your vest and your grease. You get +2 survival for your gloves and your boots. Okay. Okay, we're set up. We're set up. Yeah, it's definitely do or die at this point. I'm not expecting this campaign to go long. All right, so let's clean up the showdown. And let's spawn the butcher. And let's take a look at the stuff that the butcher has. So here's the butcher. He's a friendly looking fellow. Real friendly like. There once was a man who could not hide his fear. He wore a mask that transformed his cowardice to rage. In turn, the man transformed into a monster. All that remained was a devouring fury that stalked the night, collecting the fearful faces of others. Nemesis encounter. Departing survivors do not have a hunt phase. Instead, select the butcher's monster level. It should be one greater than the last butcher encounter, and set up the showdown accordingly. So the butcher has been placed in the center. We have 3 stone columns on the side. The survivors have to start in this base row down here. We get a random terrain card. And because we are defending our home, we go first. Our random terrain card is the stupid friggin' tree. And yeah, here's the butcher. Looks tiny. Not at all scary, right? Oh, we need a character model here. Not that character model. Let's go with this guy. All right, so let's see what the butcher has. The butcher has dreaded trophies. When a survivor dies, put their miniature on this card. The monster gains the following bonuses for each miniature on dreaded trophies. So after the first death, every single attack profile gets after damage, bleed 1. After 2 people die, the butcher gets +1 movement and +1 speed. After all 3 of them die, +2 damage tokens. Fast target. At the beginning of each monster turn, reshuffle the butcher's hit location deck. So the deck is just continuously being reshuffled. Berserker, draw +1 AI card every turn. So he's always doing 2 attacks. And then there's... Where is Infectious Lunacy explained? I guess it's explained on this card. We each have Infectious Lunacy. Also, that extra AI card evolves for each level. Yikes. Yeah, I've never seen a level 2 butcher. So we all have Infectious Lunacy. When you suffer brain damage, gain lunacy tokens equal to the damage suffered. When you have 3+ lunacy tokens, remove them and suffer the frenzy brain trauma. Remember, the frenzy brain trauma is what Briscoe here can take at will. Oh, it's a paragraph. So frenzy, you gain 1d5 insanity. That's good. +1 speed token. That's good. And +1 strength. That's good. Ignore slow on melee weapons. Slow is, I can never remember slow. Slow is not cumbersome. But I always think it's cumbersome. Glossary. Slow. Slow weapons always have an attack speed of 1, right? You don't add your speed modifiers. So if you had a weapon that always had 1, your +1 speed would actually make you attack faster. That's good. You cannot spend survival. So no more dodging, no more encouraging, no more any of that. You cannot use your fighting arts. You cannot use weapon specializations or weapon mastery. This can be gained multiple times. Yeah, the inability to use your survival kills you very quickly in this. So yeah, it's a weird trauma in that a lot of it's good, and then there's some very bad things. And yeah, so this is the fight that I guess we'll start the next stream with. Laplace does not have any items or any weapons. He's going to be biting and punching the butcher. One of the most annoying things is we go first. We can't even get to him. Oh, I hate that. So our first turn is basically going to be Tamio getting in range, throwing a dart at him to see what happens, and then getting everybody else kind of ready. What's his speed? His movement, you mean? 5. Toughness of 9. But a lot of his attacks are very low accuracy. So if you've got evasion, you might not get attacked. The trick is you're not really avoiding brain damage too much in this fight, and so you are going to have infectious lunacy. Couldn't you just wait for him? Yeah. Why don't I just wait for him? Well, he draws two. He draws two things, but that would mean that the first attack would be like, oh, I can't get there. Dang it. And then his second attack would go. I don't know why I usually go and try to set up. I guess we definitely have to move Tamio into range, which is a range of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So she does have to move at least one, and so she is going to be a target. So, yeah. Anyways, we'll get to that when we start the next stream, which I guess will be next Friday. So thanks for hanging out, everybody. Like I've said, I enjoy the ever-living heck out of this game. And we've had decent viewership, obviously, especially as time goes on. I think just because of the time that I stream, we do have more attrition than we have new people coming in. But yeah, this game's awesome. I love it. I'm pretty happy to keep playing it. I'm assuming I can send you to Semulin. No, Semulin's already offline. Or Twitch is just not showing me all of the things, which it usually does. Oh, no, Travis is already offline. Oh, it looks like Ben's doing Pokemon. I don't think I've rated Ben in a long time. Yeah, I'm going to send you folks on over to Ben, who is playing the Pokemans. So we're going to get that raid started up. We're going to head on over to Streamlabs so that I can do my credits thing for the end. We'll be back on Wednesday playing Magic. Probably not playing Kingdom Death Monster on Wednesday. We'll do a full day of Kaldheim, I guess. But yeah, then we'll be back Friday for more of this. I'm going to put these up on YouTube. So hi, YouTube, if you're still watching. I should remember to stop pushing or push the stop recording button. Yeah, thanks for watching YouTube.